Well, this is the Boxing Review Show with Boxing Social. It's episode number 5, Anthony.
5.
Who'd have thought it? So breaking records we are. But as we always will, we'll review all the action from the weekend. There wasn't a great deal of action, obviously, on UK shows, but there's a few fights over in the States. We'll have a look at them. We are today in the fighting town of Chorley, Lancashire. It's about, 40 minutes north of Manchester? Half an hour maybe, a bit more, whatever. It's around that.
Proud fighting town.
A town of champions. Chorley FM.
Coming in your ears.
Yeah. It is indeed, and of course we're here to speak to a couple of top guests. We're in the Jennings gym. Now the Jennings brothers, of course, run this gym.
Yep.
Dave and Mick Jennings, of course, the latter Jennings was in with Cotto at Madison Square Garden and fought at the very top level. But our main guest today is a lad that shook things up a little bit recently in Manchester in the shape of Mark Jeffers, a lad that we've both seen a good bit of. And dare I say, we kind of weren't surprised by the performance he put on, where many were.
He shocked a lot of people, but not people around.
No, he shook up, as I put it, because people that have seen him in the gym and have watched him fight in the small hall circuit were not surprised that Mark put on a show like that, because he's an absolute talent. So Mark Jeffers, we're going to be speaking to him in a bit, but of course we'll start off with your week, because it's always a fascinating point of conversation, what you've been doing. There's always something a bit odd.
Well, to be honest, I was with you about 9 hours ago, because we had a long day in London with the AJ Whyte presser. So speaking to obviously Dillian and Edda, then AJ, and do you know what? People will say things, and me and you say it a lot regarding Anthony Joshua. The amount of media commitments he does, and the way he manages to stay that positive for that long, it must be.
How many interviews do you reckon he did yesterday?
He was speaking non-stop for hours. In between that, he'd done the gloves are off with him and Dillian, which I'm looking forward to. And I heard it was a pretty tasty one. And it's to do that, and that's demanding on the body, like you say, physically and mentally. Thinking makes you tired and speaking, so to do it that long, and not just that, it's answering the same questions as well.
Well, he was fresh, wasn't he?
No, he was. He was good.
Very good form. In fact, both fellas were in great form yesterday,
weren't they? As well. Yeah,
it's a bit of a trek to get to that part of West London for that whole day, and it is a long day because, as you say, the media commitments are off the scale with Josh. Dillian, though, was very cool yesterday.
He was, bucket hat on. Yeah. I always say not many pull a bucket off, but I think...
and the shades.
Yeah, and the shades, but I think...
You're not going to tell him,
not just because I tell him he doesn't, but I actually think, he's one of few pull a bucket hat off, Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, it was. So you obviously spoke to both fighters. We spoke to Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
And in terms of, we were saying it yesterday, with the heavyweights being a bit of a frustrating mess at the minute. Obviously Dubois going to fight Usyk, which is great. He's got a real chance there, but it's not Usyk Fury, which we've been wanting for so long now.
That's the fight we've wanted, and that's the one that people are disappointed it's not happened. And I think more so now because Tyson's going to come in for a bit of stick. And listen, it's business, it's obviously got to make business sense, but people are going to get frustrated. Now it looks, I'm hearing like in a matter of days or maybe hours, we're going to hear some kind of exhibition with Francis Ngannou.
Wow.
And then we're going to have people in sport asking, does a man who's never had a professional boxing fight beat one of the best heavyweights of the past decade?
Well, it's just Mayweather McGregor all over again, isn't it?
Like it is very similar. It's very similar to that. So it's like all that kind of crazy talk. But it's us saying that the scary thing is that it'll do big numbers. It'll be big numbers wherever it is in the world. It'll sell out. And it'll generate a lot of money. So but listen, Dubois, Usyk, interesting. Very interesting. Be good to see him back out. But obviously, the one that everyone's talking about now is the rematch between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, the third fight as well. Obviously, the amateurs
as
with
well.
Dillian won, and then Josh obviously did the business when they met in 2015. And look, it's not. It isn't the super fight we all want, but it's a good fight.
No, it's a good fight.
It's a good fight. It's going to be entertaining.
Domestic heavyweight tear up,
and it'll get nasty in the fight week.
It will do. It will do. I think. Well, I think it will.
Yeah.
I was saying it yesterday. So between them, you can see, in my opinion, I'm no body language expert. Well,
you are.
Well, I am. Yeah. But anyway, I just think that there is a little bit of needle in that, because there can't not be. And I think, listen, but I think they have got respect for each other. But I do believe there's a bit of needle, and I think in the gloves are off, we're going to see that.
Yeah.
We're going to see that. And I think with Anthony Joshua, he just seems a lot more mature now. But then also, Dillian does, and as we're speaking to Dillian, and he's saying to us yesterday, I was just a fuck who could have a fight back then.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, he was unbelievably raw, and he's improved massively.
Well, yeah, he's made a lot of changes, and he's taken himself away all the time.
Totally.
So
and he said,
away
like,
from
now as an
distractions,
athlete, like, back then he said, I didn't do S&C, I didn't eat vitamin. You know, I knew nothing. I was literally a fuck who could have a fight. Whereas Anthony Joshua, you feel now, he's just thinking a lot more what he's doing. He's, I think he's thinking.
He's always picking your brains now when we speak to him now. He's
we
asking you as many questions.
We always have a good chat, and he's asking about Lomachenko, and I think, I'm probably asking the wrong guy if asking about him.
Well, that was it. It was probably not.
We was going on about the similarities in the Ukrainians, how they was judging distance. Obviously, Usyk, Lomachenko, trained by Pacheco, like, and we could see the similarities there. I feel like you've done a little bit better than me, but we were just talking about the similarities. You know, how they're making you think all the time, how they're making you tired. Just by threatening, you know, with that for teasing.
I don't think people were expecting to see you and Anthony having a move around at the back of the room yesterday.
Yeah, I don't get that was probably after about 5 hours after he'd been speaking, if not more.
Good to see.
But you know, I'm looking forward to the fight, and I think both Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte are a lot more polished now than what they was back then. Listen, that might not make for a fan-friendly fight, because by both their missions, it was both raw, and they basically, without sounding uneducated, they basically just had it, didn't they, last time? They did. So now there might be a lot more thinking behind it, but no, I think it's a real fascinating fight, because it's, you know, being realistic, and I think both have got to be commended for taking this fight, because the loser of this fight, you being realistic, we're talking about this Saudi tournament and stuff like that, it's hard to see them carrying on at the elite level.
No.
So, and people will go, oh, well, what? Commend them, what, they're getting paid fortunes. Yeah, they will be getting paid fortunes, but it's also for the loser, it's potentially career-ending for the loser.
It is indeed, but of course the action that we just touched upon stateside, we've not named the characters yet, of course, but there's a bit of a star in the Matchroom stable in the making, in Diego Pacheco, who was in against Manuel Gallegos. We saw him actually, and obviously Jack Cullen.
I was just about to say, the boys in here would probably give you a much better
they know very well. We'll catch up, by the way, because as mentioned before, we've got Dave and Mick Jennings here as well, so we'll catch up with them. But yeah, Jack Cullen got in there, and again, Jack does what Jack does, doesn't he? You know, he's always going to have a go, but Pacheco was very good.
Yeah, he was very good.
And he was at the weekend.
And on Saturday, again, he does look that special talent, that Matchroomer going on about, and he looks very likely to become a world champion. I remember he was in Liverpool, wasn't we? And the way he carries himself and seeing about him, you just know that's a lad with not in any way arrogant. Seems a great lad, but just very, very confident in his own ability. And I think we've got a future world champion for sure. And there'll be some big nights. He might be one of the top Mexican fighters in the upcoming years. Yeah.
Ortiz Jr. was meant to be fighting. Obviously, that was pulled. That was pulled
yes,
late on. But
that was the big one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a few times that's fell through now.
I know it's a shame, but there was another star, Boots Ennis.
Yes.
Who's in action
different
again.
Bill, wasn't he? But
against Roman Villa, different bill. And that was at Atlantic City, wasn't it? The first fight was in Monterrey, the Pacheco fight. So, and again, you know, he wants the winner of Crawford Spence, doesn't he? And he's in that mix, isn't he?
I believe he is that good as well. He's that good to be saying that. You know, how big of a fan I am with Terence Crawford, but do you know one thing I'll say about Jaron Ennis? No one calls his name out. He reminds me a little bit of Shakur Stevenson, like that. And I'll be surprised. I mean, I'd love to see the winner of Crawford and Spence fight Ennis, but I think more than likely we'll probably see them move up a weight. But Ennis is there, and listen, the Ortiz, if he comes through, there's some great fights to be made at welterweight. But Boots Ennis, I've said it for a bit. He's a future star, just without a doubt.
His old man's going to be busy as well, isn't he? He's got Andy Cruz making his debut next weekend. We'll have maybe a quick look at that later on.
One of the most talented amateurs in recent times to turn over from Cuba, and exciting times.
But there you go. So there wasn't a great deal of action. We've got more to look ahead to, I think, next week. We've got a big review next week. There's action in the UK and, again, stateside as well. Big nights. But in terms of now why we're here, I think really we should get stuck into the man of the moment. And I think we'll bring him in now. So coming next is the one and only Mark Jeffers. So here he is, all right, big night at the arena. again, all eyes on you, 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Everyone's thinking, Zak Chelli's been in great form, he did a number on Sims, he was meant to be fighting Mark Heffron for the British title, you stepped in, and your team and you, Kevin Marie, your manager, super confident, as in were a lot of people locally as well. I mean, have you paid for a few holidays for your mates, by the way?
That's it. There's some.
I was going to say, I hope you're not buying a drink anytime soon around here.
I'm still expecting some presents of some of the boys. But yeah, great night. And English title. A lot of people, well, I don't even think the British boxing knew it was for the English title. But yeah, it was in the contract, so English title and then some little Commonwealth one. But yeah, it weren't even about the titles for me. Last week it was more get a win on the big stage, show everybody what I'm about, and push on.
I was unrest that night. It was very much the opportunity, and being honest, I think Chelli's someone who's been, he has been avoided. He's been avoided. Yeah. So for you to step in, I was speaking to Mike Jennings before it, and he's, I think the manager Kevin Marie rang and said it's been offered. And how long did it take you to think I will take that fight?
It was about 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
I was just having a pack of digested biscuits at the time, I'll be honest. And before Mick even said when it was, I said, take it quick.
Take it, yeah.
Obviously, last thing I wanted to messing about, saying, let's have a think about it. I said, take it, I'll beat him before somebody else gets that opportunity.
It was a top night to do it on as well, wasn't it? I mean, when you've got the Sky platform and everything else, it was a big night in Manchester, so you had a rowdy old crew with you down there as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been basically just on the small hall circuit, haven't you? You've obviously unbeaten, you've been doing the business, but when you made that step up, so you're doing the big ring walk, you're at the big arena, where you would have probably watched the likes of him and whatever back in the day, but back in the day.
Made me feel off.
Yeah. I was on one of your undercards one time.
Oh, that's
when I was, first fight.
Yeah. That was your first one? Wow, I forgot all about that.
That was my second ever fight, that.
Jeez. The first Linares one, so that's mad. So you did that and...
Yeah. But you didn't get the big show that night, did you?
No, I think that's about 4 in the afternoon, I'll be honest.
How did it feel doing that? The first time, like the first big step up?
I just felt more comfortable doing
that.
That
was that long ago.
Yeah, of course. So that was like 7 years ago. I just felt more comfortable on Saturday night than I would do an Oldham Leisure Centre. I don't know what it were.
Right.
I just felt at home almost, as that's how you can describe it. And then felt like got the job done.
Well, you did get the job done. It was a great performance, but your post-fight interview, cracked me up. Because it was like, I know obviously the adrenaline's pumping and everything else, but you were dropping the F-bomb, you didn't care. You're kind of half angry almost because you'd not performed the way you wanted to, which to most would be like harsh in the extreme to think that of yourself. But that was funny. You were just off on one, weren't you?
Yeah, no. Well, I suppose it's to be expected, isn't it? Like, nobody's taught me what to say or nothing. I just do what I do.
It's better, just keep it raw like that.
I know, that's it.
Yeah, media training can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it can be very, very helpful, and it can. But if you're not a loud lad, but you're not bothered by a camera being in your face either. Equally, are you? So it comes naturally. Whatever's going to come out is just going to be natural, and you're going to say what you think.
That's what no one's going to tell me what to. I can't say. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's on TV or not. It's like there was speaking to Ben Shalom and one of the Sky boys and on the Thursday, and they were like, I don't let the occasion get the better of you, and I was like,
you don't know
that. Nah, you don't need to worry about that. Just you'll see Saturday night.
Right. Yeah. I knew of you for a very long time. I was talking about it before. I remember as a schoolboy when you winning national titles. Yeah. And basically just, not in a disrespectful way, we both said, just overpowering talented kids winning national titles. And for me, as an ex-fighter, but I think it's a massive lesson to our young fighters out there. You might was staying it away from the camera. You don't need an 8-week camp, a 10-week camp. You're one of them, you live in the gym, don't you? 4 weeks, you could be ready for a 12-rounder. Have you just always been that way inclined? I know you dabbled in a few sports, but have you just always been that fit?
Yeah, I've always been fit. I'm a lot more disciplined with myself now. Yeah. And I feel like that's what you have to be. like I said, I've seen amateur kids in that thinking they're needing 6-8 week camps, and even like young pros, 4-rounders, like looking 10-week camps and that, and I'm like, what you
going back into camp for a 4-rounder,
having weeks off after a 4-rounder, just get back in the gym. You've won nothing realistically, and that's what I've learned over the years. Obviously you mature, but you've only got one chance at it properly, that's why I put effort into it now.
You're only 25. You've had injuries, haven't you, that have kind of been a bit of a pain for you as well. But you only started this lark to get fit for football, didn't you? Basically, because that was your thing. You were on the books of Blackburn Rovers, weren't you? And Preston, and that was your big game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was at Preston at the time, and just went down to Chorley ABC. It was just to get fit for boxing.
Was that Reece
Breverton? Yeah. Mick Graves. Them boys are still all down there, to be honest.
Yeah. His son Lee, wasn't he?
Lee was a good amateur. So, that was just, and to be fair, I didn't love it really. It was just literally get myself fit for football. And then, just stuck at it, won a couple of schoolboys. And as you do, you have enough of it, you get sick of it. And but just, my dad kept pushing me, just said, just keep going. And then, when I was 17, spoke to Mick. Because to me it was either pack and do my joinery or I've got the pros, spoke to Mick, and then that's how it's gone from there.
So when did the football kind of fall away then? Because if you were taking it seriously as a kid, obviously.
Yeah, I used to be pretty good, I'll be honest. And then got to about, I want to say 12, 13, and it was either, you can't be...
Football or boxing.
Yeah, that's how it went. And then I just ended up just packing it in. I just said I'm just going to quit the football at a good level, and I carried on playing just with my mates and that at Taunton and then Eccleston. Like I said, they weren't great, but just give me a runabout. And then I got to about 18, 19, and I've not played since. Just I won't risk getting injured.
How did you squeeze the cricket in there?
I was just about to say, where did you get
cricket. I'm semi-retired at cricket now. But there's
no other sports.
No. I was playing darts. I ended up knocking cricket properly on the head last year. Still play the odd game and that, but I've got to focus on me boxing totally. So
because I know you were saying you were going to play cricket the day after the fight. It was a bit of a Liam Smith situation. He always plays football, doesn't he? After he fights, doesn't matter. He always turns out. But he had a little bit of a niggle.
A little bit of a niggle. So I've just had a couple of weeks off, and I'll be back in the gym next week.
Yeah, and you're a big sporty family, aren't you?
Yeah, all my family, my brother, my sister, my dad, my mum, they're all into sports. My sister's, I'll be honest, the most talented out of all of us. She's only 18, so hopefully, obviously you get to that age.
What's her sport?
She's a cyclist, road cyclist, so
wow, okay.
Yeah, she's very good. So hopefully she sticks at it and fulfills her potential.
Yeah, and you were born in Northern Ireland, weren't you?
Yeah.
So what's the story there? Why you're born there and you all moved over? And your dad's from Northern Ireland, and your mum's English.
Yeah, that's it. Right? So my dad's from Northern Ireland. I was born in a place called Macfelt, about half an hour from Belfast, and then I was only about 2, so I don't even remember being over there. All moved over to where we live now in Eccleston.
Matt, so coming off this great win, you tick a lot of boxes. Very likeable. Sell a lot of tickets.
Potty mouth.
Willing to fight. One of the lads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have? I don't know if you can sort of say that, but is there another date lined up? And are we going to see you back on that platform again?
Yeah, that's the
plan.
That's the rumours. Yeah, obviously everything needs to get confirmed.
Of
but
course.
We're talking about a date in September, looking at an English title defence. So.
And you're there ready to go then, whether it be a Commonwealth as well and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Like I said, I'd take the British now, but as I heard you saying on the podcast, obviously Kev's managers.
Of course, Kev's got you.
Yeah, so
Kev's doing all right in that super middleweight.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's taking over.
That's the funny thing, though. Obviously, when Kevin Marie manages you and Mark Heffron, who's the British champ, and Mark, you trained with him here as well a few years back. And it must be a dilemma for Kevin. He's probably thinking, well, it's brilliant, but I've got to keep them apart, haven't I? Because I've got to do the best for the individuals, but I don't know, it's a conundrum.
It's also a nice thing though as well, where you think if you can manoeuvre titles as well, can't you?
Yeah. But I know you'd have it now, wouldn't you, obviously?
Yeah, listen, I think it showed that last week. Yeah. Ben Chillam was going on about he's the best super middleweight in the country, about Zak Chelli, and I was like, yeah, I'll beat him on 2 weeks' notice. That's what I was telling people. I said I beat him on 2 hours' notice. So I proved that last week.
How was your weight?
Weight?
In terms of is super middle very easy for you?
You look where Mike and Dave was there.
Yeah.
You looked where Mike and Dave was there. No, he looks trim.
No, it's probably too easy at times, as mad as it sounds.
It does look like that, like you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I could probably make middle. I've started messaging a nutritionist, so looking to get something sorted there. I've never done my I'm beans on toast every day for lunch, you know what I mean? It's beyond the joke, but get that right, I'll probably stay at super middleweight. Just fill out, get a bit stronger, put a bit of muscle on. But yeah, my weight's, I think that's just due to the amount of running I do as well. Obviously, you go for your runs and that, you're going to lose your weight, ain't you? So, yeah, definitely.
Well, let's get to your specialist subject. We like to do this. We like to do this to see away from boxing. It can't be anything to do with boxing, but obviously with your football background, I know that you're a big Rovers fan, Blackburn Rovers, where you played as a kid.
Yeah.
Not far up the road there. So Anthony's been all over this. He loves.
I've got a few questions.
Yeah. I think you should kick this off, Anthony.
Go on, I've got a few. Okay, then, right. Last time I was at Ewood Park, it's not about me, it's about Matt. But last time I was at Ewood Park.
He's going to try and drag it all back to Man United.
Right.
That's the way it's going to work. But.
It was, do you know what? Blackburn Rovers took the lead. Then you lost 2-1.
Yeah.
Zlatan scored a winner at Ewood Park. I was there. Do you remember it? 2017.
Yeah. Was that in the?
It was in the FA Cup.
Yep.
Can you tell me who scored the goal for Rovers that day?
Who scored the goal? Let me have a think on this one. No.
Blackburn centre forward, wasn't there?
Danny Graham.
Danny
Was
Graham.
it? I didn't know.
Danny Graham, yeah. I remember it because I remember all the Rovers because they were running at the bottom.
A mate of mine was playing that day. He was playing at Crolla at William Tomlinson.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was playing,
against
marking Zlatan, I think it were. That'd have been fun for him.
That's one to
it's mad. So, but no, don't remember that far ago.
He's some man, isn't he, Zlatan?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Go on.
Next one. Your 5 record signings, right?
Yeah.
Just name 3 of them.
5 record signings.
So, the 5 biggest transfers that Rovers have gone in.
5 was that? 3. Give us 2.
2 or 3. They are pretty tricky, actually, but mainly, there's a couple of fairly recent ones.
Jordan Rhodes.
Correct.
Diaz. Brereton Diaz.
No.
He weren't. No. He was about 8 million. That's a lot for Rovers.
Unless we've got our research wrong.
Yeah, I'd have a search on that one.
Yeah. Which could happen.
So, right.
You've got another belter, right?
I've got a double point for you there, Mark. I think you're going to get this.
Yeah.
Celebrity couple, celebrity showbiz couple, right?
Dak.
Wolf. It's a 2-pointer.
Go on.
Bradley Dak, and his missus' name.
Olivia.
Oh.
Olivia what? So she's on Love Island, wouldn't she? Olivia.
That knows the Love Island background, the Towie background.
That's good enough.
Bradley and Olivia, that's good enough. Olivia Atwood.
Fair enough. Give him that one.
They don't play for Rovers no more. They've just gone.
Bradley's just gone?
Yeah, he's gone, yeah. He weren't really getting a game. Obviously, he had a few bad injuries.
He's moved on, yeah, he had problems with injuries.
Some talent in him as well.
Yeah, he was good. But I don't know where he's going to go from now. Maybe back to League One, possibly. Who knows?
Do you ever look back at the 95 team and stuff like that? Because obviously it's before your time. But
yeah,
before your time,
94,
that was
95. Yeah, no, I watched a few things in it. Obviously, Sutton and Shearer.
SAS.
Yeah, Jack Walker and that. Just a shame it was...
Who's your all-time favourite player?
Roque Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, yeah.
He was some striker.
You must have been up there with the transfers.
I don't...
These are
free. He was at Man City, remember, as well, wasn't he?
He went for big money at the time to City. Even like Samba, they got him for 400 grand. You remember him?
Well, he actually comes from the fights,
Santa Cruz was a real one out of the blue, really,
Samba,
wasn't he?
Yeah.
that he made his name. It didn't quite work for him at City, did it? But
No, yes, Santa Cruz. Yeah, he was quality at Rovers though. They've had some good talent. Like you said, two guys as well. He was one of my favourite.
Yeah, character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smoking cigars and that before
If
games.
there's one Rovers player who you think could make a good boxer, who? Past, present, whichever. Do you right? You remind
Maybe Damien Dunn.
David Dunn, right? Yeah.
David Dunn.
David Dunn.
David Dunn.
Hey, he's
Dunn,
into his
yeah.
boxing.
Yeah, he
big-
likes
yeah,
it.
that's
He
what I
makes
thought.
Big pals with Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, David
and
Dunn.
in fact, he was in America when Hatton fought Calazzo. I was in the dressing room because I was doing the thing with Ricky at the time.
Yeah.
And David Dunn was over in Boston
Yeah.
So he's
to
a
watch
big-
Ricky. So
Yeah,
I know he's
yeah.
into his boxing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought that. So yeah, we'll go with Dunn.
Yeah, and he's got a bit about him, Dunn, hasn't he? As well,
yeah.
you can imagine.
Yes. I always think Shearer. I heard Shearer was a hard case. I think he would have made a good
believe
boxer.
Yeah.
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 Fancies a bit.
Yeah,
but,
class, wasn't he?
I think you passed the Rovers test. Anyway,
That's
Mark,
all right
isn't
then.
it?
Yeah. I didn't get the first one right, did I? What was that?
No, but then again, I'm
don't
not
actually know
I'm
that.
not actually
No.
sure about our own research.
No.
So.
You got the main one right anyway
That's it.
about Bradley and Olivia,
Yeah.
so all good.
And yeah, he thought he'd have you on that.
No, you never get me on that one.
Pass that test. So, but we look forward to seeing you out again. Anyway, so what's the plan now? Just in the meantime, before you hear of anything, and I know you've got your eye on maybe September. That's when you want to get out again.
Yeah.
You've had your 1 week off. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I've got a double marathon next week. That's about 55. What is it? 54 miles, something like that.
Oh no, hang on a sec. I've got
Wow.
right. I've
Wow.
heard this. Did you run 62 miles in one go or something?
Yeah.
Is that because of fell run?
No, that was just down the A6. That. Yeah.
I thought that was bollocks.
I
but
thought he
it's
was doing
true.
some kind of fell run up and that.
Nah, just down it. I just.
So it's basically
What, just
100k
for the-
or whatever.
Was it an event or just doing it for the crack?
Yeah, well, my mum and dad, all my family were up that weekend, so I said, I'll meet you up there. I
So where? Well,
set
from here
off-
to
Yeah, to Lakes, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
rather
this.
than get a car.
Yeah, so I thought, yeah.
Makes sense.
That's how I got home, obviously. They'd already drove up, so
Wow.
stayed
How long
over
did
for
that take?
11 hours, that. Yeah, non-stop.
Non-stop.
The only time I stopped was to fill up my water, and then cramped up bad and that, so I was like...
What time did
can't
you set
stop.
off?
4 in the morning.
Jeez.
Got there
is
just after
properly
dinner,
mental.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
some going. That's
And that's just
unbelievable.
for no
Yeah,
reason.
13 pounds I lost,
Have you,
nearly a stone.
have you
that
got
day.
have you got any mad goals like that? Like sort of after box? I don't know after hearing that you probably do it while you are box,
Yeah.
like an Iron Man or anything
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I've got loads of things I want to do.
Give us a few.
Me and my brother are on about, from ours to top of Scotland, that's 500 miles.
Yeah.
See if we can do that in a day. That's like 20 mile an hour average, give or take. So
Right.
In a car?
yeah, if have a look at my brother. Yeah, my brother's got YouTube cycling,
So what's
cycling
your mode of
cam,
transport
yeah,
there? On a bike?
on the bike, yeah.
Right.
So just so if you check out his videos, he's got some
Hard
mad
to get on it,
challenges.
yeah.
He's pretty good at them, how he does them. He's done like, maybe this is where I've got the ideas from, and that he bought a plane ticket to France and rode back from France, like 100 odd miles a day.
What's done like a Brompton or?
On a proper road bike,
Right.
like, yeah, but he's done some mad challenges, so yeah, if anyone's watching cycling cam, have a look at his
How do that
YouTube.
go?
Oh my God,
Definitely.
that is insane. He's not going out on the beer with you anytime soon, is
Mate,
he?
absolutely not.
Do
want you,
you drink at all? Or
I
is it
used
you?
to, not anymore, no,
Right.
I've not drank for about 7 months,
Fair play.
which I feel, well, it was 6 months to the day it were on
On your fight.
Saturday, which I feel like how things work out like that.
Nice
it's mad.
little milestone.
Yeah, so, and it's obviously, I've never really believed in like, things happen for a reason and that, but I've started to recently, how everything's falling into
Signs are there.
place. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well,
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, good to
enjoy
have
your
you down.
downtime, watching the Ashes, I suppose, and all that
That's
kind of
it,
stuff that
watching
you
the
can do
Ashes,
now when you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
training and doing ridiculous runs, 100k to the Lake District.
Brilliant.
So the double marathon, by the way,
That's next week, that, yeah.
and it is what it says it is.
Yeah, just double marathon, yeah, 8 hours.
Where is it?
Just round mine. A few of the boys that just do half a marathon loops.
So again, it's not an event. It's
No, just I enjoy it. So yeah.
Yeah, I can think of better things to do, to be honest.
Brilliant.
So
Fair play, though. That's incredible.
I enjoy that.
So fighting must be a doddle for you.
Well, a lot of it, I just do it for the mental side. Just see how people think they're tough.
Yeah.
Go and do something like that, you'll find out how tough you really are.
Well, you're not going to get any fights now.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard work getting your
Nah,
match.
get
But anyway,
somewhere.
Mark, pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, cheers for
It's
having
great
me.
to see you.
spot on that.
Thanks.
And well, we've caught with the main man now, but we're going to find out what else is going on in this gym next. So great catching up with Mark Jeffers, and one of the fellas that is helping guide that young fella in his career is Dave Jennings. Obviously, part of the Jennings dynasty here. Mick Jennings, your brother, of course, very much a part of this whole setup. Firstly, though, because obviously we've spoken to Mark and everything else, you've got other pros knocking about. Jack Cullen, of course, who was in with Diego Pacheco. We were talking about him earlier. That was his last fight. You know, he's here. You've had so many good lads come through this gym. I mean, give us a flavour of the pros.
I was out with Matty Askin on Saturday, actually.
I was a nice guy, was Matt,
Yeah, he's good. He's doing good, you know.
Former British champion.
Yeah.
Do you know when you look at Fine Line, like, so obviously that night he easily could have come out the winner against Crowley. I know it wasn't a great watch, but what he sort of could have gone on from there.
I mean, Matty retired when he come up to here, when we seen him at Reebok. He'd finished type of thing. So at that point we was getting lads who was probably like just on the edge. Jack Canfield were another kid who ended up beating John Ryder. So all them guys are sort of was on the way out really.
That wins aged well. I think
you were 9-1. You were top of the bill. He was 9-1 or something like that night, like, and he got the win. So we've always been that type of gym, if you will, you know, underdogs type of thing. No different on Saturday, to be fair, but I think we've got some kids there now who are going to end up being the air sides as well. So it's good to be bought. Oh, it's great to be win as an underdog as well. Don't get me wrong.
But this gym's not all about that, is it? Because I think it's also the town you're in. You're in Chorley, which is out on its own a little bit.
Satellite.
You're in
Manchester,
between. Well, it's in between Preston and Manchester, basically. So you are unfashionable.
Yeah.
Because all the boxers and the gyms and all the attention goes to Manchester and Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, and we're not the type of to be bitter about that or anything. I understand that. That's where the majority of boxing comes from. Anthony and countless others from Manchester. Liverpool's no different. However, we feel we can make a mark on the boxing scene, however big or little. We believe that there is gyms, there is towns that might not get the publicity. You know, we've got kids coming in from Morecambe and places like that. We've got young lad coming from Halifax now training here.
That's
type
crazy,
of thing. Yeah. But you know, I think it's more to do with the town, you know, but I think it's what's happening in the gym as well, and that momentum as well helps, obviously.
But I know that the work you do here is as important. Like the Mark Jeffers of this world and Jack Cullen, that's great. But I know that you're on the ground with the kids, not just the boxing kids, the kids that need help in so many different ways.
Yeah,
it's a proper community gym, isn't it?
We are. Just going to say that we're very much a community gym. We do drug and rehabilitation classes, which are free, which we've been funding now for about 6 or 7 years or something like that. The gym itself, like, I mean, my brother died of drugs and things like that, so that's something that we both wanted to do really, and raise the profile of that, because people who are in recovery, they don't really want to go to gyms in terms of like David Lloyd's or whatever gym type of thing. So there are other gyms out there, I should say. But you know, it's like they might feel like they're being looked at or whatever, where in here they can come in, they can talk about it, and it's like a therapy session as well, to tell each other how they're getting on day to day, that type of thing. We're working with a number of schools now with kids who don't like the school, or they can't do full-time education. And this is sort of like one of the lads there, Reece has just managed to get back in full-time education. So that's great, and that's massive, because, you know, for all the help these PRU schools do, they're not going to be able to give them a full-time education like a mainstream will.
Do you know what, I don't know if you know, but one of the things they do here, which I thought was a brilliant idea, is they've got an allotment down the road. So the kids that come in, Dave and Mick, it's not just about boxing and this, that and the other. They teach them about food.
Foods and stuff.
Yeah, we do a lot of nutrition, and we do a lot of sort of mindful stuff as well. I mean, like we do the fishing over there as well. There's a pond there, what we use that. It's like a de-escalation
It
type
really is
of
like,
thing.
say, a proper community gym, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and we'd like to say we take kids from 8-year-old up to obviously elite level fighters as well. So you can come here, get fit, you can ladies only classes. You can do pretty much anything you want really within this community,
That's unbelievable. Do you know what? You mentioned something just before then. I know about it because I try and follow the amateurs in the area, and I think the amount of national champions you are churning year in, year out now, you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But will you just tell us about some of the champions you've got sort of as amateurs? I know now, I see it, and I say you knew. When did you start?
Oh, 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
2 weeks ago.
So in 10 years, without a doubt become one of the very top amateur clubs all around the Northwest, one of the very best. I'm right in saying that. But will you just tell us about some of the talent that's coming through? I know.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, right now as we speak, we've got 4 representing England in Germany, a box cup where America are involved.
Yeah.
And I know there's a kid there within who's Shakur Stevenson's protege. Well, one of our lads will end up boxing him in the competition, as long as they both get through all well. That's Joe Turner, who's a
very, very good fighter.
Oh, very good, yeah. He can punch. He's a good body puncher. I think he's had about 15 this season, lost 1, but it was a very disputed bout. Yeah. Obviously, we've got likes of Leighton Birchall, who's gone undefeated again this year. I think he's had 12 and won them all.
One of my
favourite
for England.
Unbelievable talent. I think he got the boxer of the tournament in the youths, you know. So, Leighton, I mean, he's so talented, but he works so hard.
Yeah.
That's the thing about him, you know. You watch the kid, he's in here in the morning, he's in the afternoon, he's doing his running. You know, and it's just a great example, and it's a great inspiration for the young kids coming through as well. And they all are, these guys as well. Like I said, we've got a big lad heavyweight there, Leon. He's going representing England as well. Yeah. So we've got a lot of talent. She's Monet, but she's not representing England this time. Mikey Jennings. Yes, he represented England. Our Michael's lad at the GB, and we had 3 on that day. And Mikey won a bronze. The other 2 lads won a gold medal. So, like I say, it's from one spectrum to the other, where we'll work with grassroots community, where we also are excelling in the elite side of amateur boxing, and very soon to be professional with Mark.
And I do know as well that you sometimes get the guitar out, and Mick might be banging the drums and all the rest of it, but I don't know if that puts the kids off or not. But
not recently, no.
The musical background is interesting as well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were in a band, or you started a band, and you didn't have a drummer, so you said to your kid, "Will you play the drums?" And he said, "Well, I've never drummed before, but I can box, and I've got rhythm, so I'll give it a go." And he ended up being a very decent band.
Not bad, yeah.
Well, you supported the Stone Roses?
Ian Brown, we supported.
Ian Brown, sorry.
Yeah, but we went all over the country doing it, and we played in some places like historic places, really, like the 100 Club in London, where for me, being the Sex Pistols played there, and that were the bands that we were brought up listening to. So just to be able to, it was good fun. You know, it wasn't like, this is it. We're good. You know, it was good fun, and we loved it, really. And it was just another facet to what we're doing, really. I mean, I recently supported a guy called Hack Baker in Manchester, and you know, he's doing well recently. Yeah, he's doing really well. He's good.
Yeah, and you can see the shocks on YouTube, can't you? If you
a
bit of that. The shocks.
If you want.
What is it? SHOKS?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Right,
thanks for that, Dom.
What have got planned now, Dave? So now, what's the plan now? Summer, like you say. I was going to say, so you can't really switch off because you've got 4 fighting internationally in the amateurs. Yeah. I know Jack Chelli was going to fight this weekend due to injury. He can't. Yeah. You're waiting on the debut of the very talented Nelson Birchall.
Yeah, I mean, I should mention Nelson, really. I mean, he's got his debut coming up, but recently, not long ago, you see the poster on the back there. It's the IBA Youth Men's and Women's. He won a bronze medal. Yeah, so he's like the number 3 in the world, you know, and that's what an achievement that is, type of thing, you know. Beating Kazakhstani kids and, you know all these rich history in terms of amateur boxing. You've got these Russians and the Kazakhs, and he's up there not just competing but beating them. So he's going to be a terrific talent.
I was supposed to say the next few years here, right from like the amateur level. Yeah. Obviously, some are going to turn professional.
Yeah, well,
there's going to be some titles coming this year.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, and it's took 10 years to get to this point, but I think we're doing it organically, and I prefer it, if I'm honest. You know, in that sense, it's like when these kids do turn pro, we'll know them inside out. We know what makes them tick. We're not just getting to know them 8 fights in. We'll know them from the off type of thing, and I think that will be beneficial.
Right, you've got to have a think now, by the way, about your hero of the week. And
there's
not been a great deal of action, but you can go off piste if you want. Wow. A bit left field, and you can pluck a hero out of anywhere. But have a think about that. But in the meantime, quick look ahead then for the weekend's boxing. Alicia Baumgardner is out.
Yes, good to see her back.
Andy Cruz makes his debut that we touched upon before.
I think the question of Andy Cruz.
Josh Kelly's in action over here.
Josh Kelly's in Newcastle. British title, Kazavchak and Liam Dillon. So busy. It's good to have boxing back on over here. And Andy Cruz, I think the question on many people's lips is how many fights is it going to take for him to become world champion? Doesn't always work like that, but that seems to it. Does it do in under 5 fights? We shall see. Yeah,
but with the Cuban thing, it doesn't always work, does it? From the amateur, it really doesn't always work. So
Yeah, no, they would tell you that. I think they get distractions. They go from literally living and breathing the sport to having distractions outside, because obviously they're moving out of their home country as well. So
I think it's more the regime in Cuba as well, isn't it? How there was, like I say, how they've been brought through, and then obviously it's a different world over in America or wherever you go, isn't it? They've got, like say, they've got a little bit of everything. However, that Andy Cruz is a super talented Ennis, so you'd back him, wouldn't you, to be honest?
Absolutely, to do it.
Yeah. So what's the week look like, by the way, for you?
We
Before
look
we get
like
to the big
now
question.
just back in the gym. Not quite working as hard as these Jennings brothers, but I'm trying. And that's it. And I'm thinking this week I was going to venture up to Newcastle, but I think I'm going to watch it on telly, have a rare weekend, not at a show.
Right.
I can't be too confident. Or I might be, what a liar. I've got Levi fighting. I've got Levi fighting on Saturday night. Jeez,
in Bolton. There's a show up the road, isn't there?
Yeah, not in Bolton, no, in Oldham.
Oldham,
yes.
Yes.
Supposed to be there, yeah?
You were about to run,
we were
so
there,
I know.
Josh on that. And some
Josh is on that, so I'm
yeah.
guessing, Levi's not listening to this, so Levi's on. But I'm actually going to go and pad him now. I'm going to go and pad him now.
Are you going to go and pad your own fighter now, yeah?
Yes, like literally.
Good idea.
Yes, so,
nice one.
Yeah,
right, and Dave, anything exciting for you this week?
No, rare weekend off, to be honest with you. Like I say, we were out last weekend.
Yeah.
We would have had Mark on this weekend, but you know, it's a great weekend last weekend, so nothing.
Yeah, I think he was better doing what he did, wasn't it? And it's great.
100%, mate, yeah, absolutely.
Right, who's your hero?
Hero of the week? Do you know, it's a tough one because I've not really thought about it, but I'm a massive Boots Ennis fan. And I just think after it, he calls for the winner of Spence and Crawford. I think he believes that as well. I think he genuinely wants that fight. It sounds a bit creepy, doesn't it, if I say, Joshua, Dillian Whyte for yesterday, because that was some media commitment.
I thought you might do that. I thought you might actually say Dillian because of his bucket hat and all that.
I know. I think both AJ and Dillian Whyte, the media commitments they talked for like literally 7 hours straight, and we waited for most of them, and only had 2 bottles of beer in between. So I think we need a shout out as well.
Speak for yourself. In terms of shout outs, by the way, young Trey at your gym.
What a
an avid listener to the podcast,
Trey,
so you've got to throw out a little hello to Trey. Yeah.
There you go.
And obviously, Ant, how do people get involved with this thing?
Click, link, subscribe, follow, leave comments, positive, negative, you leave them.
Negative?
Negative,
okay.
probably negative ones.
But all you've got to do, though, is watch or listen to the Boxing Review Show.